Fox 10 Phoenix starts now.
Police investigation near 34th and Glendale Avenues. Police now confirming it was a shooting. They were called out to an apartment complex right around 4 o'clock this morning. When they arrived, they found a man who had been shot, according to police, who was taken to the hospital, but his injuries are not considered to be life-threatening. No word yet on a suspect or what led up to the shooting in the first place.
So we have this story. A car appears to have crashed through a fence off the I-17 southbound Thomas Road off-ramp. It doesn't appear to be affecting traffic. A couple of law enforcement vehicles on scene. Not clear if anyone was hurt, and as soon as we receive more information, we will share that with you. This morning, Arizona will hold its first execution of a death row inmate since 2022, when Aaron Gunches is put to death by lethal injection.
Yes, it's one of the big stories we're following for you on this Wednesday. Dominique Newland is joining us live with the very latest on this. Good morning, Dominique.
Good morning. After several delays and several execution requests from the inmate himself, Aaron Gunch's death sentence will be underway in just a little less than 3 hours now. So to give you a recap on his case, you may remember back in 2022, the now 53-year-old pled guilty to the killing of Ted Price, the ex-husband of Gunch's girlfriend. He was arrested in La Paz County after shooting a DPS trooper during a traffic stop. That trooper did survive, but the bullets were matched to the gun used in Price's murder. Gunches had made several requests to have his execution carried out over the years, but first executions have been put on hold in Arizona in 2014 following a botched lethal injection that took several hours, and as well as trouble finding proper execution drugs. A warrant was issued when executions resumed in 2022, but then Governor Hobbs put them on hold to review the process, and that hold ended last November. Last night, a prayer session was held for Gunches in downtown Phoenix, and worshipers say they do not believe that the state should be ending anyone's life.
As a Catholic, I do believe that every single person's life, no matter where they're from, what they're about, is of value, and that's from conception to natural death.
Arizona currently has 112 prisoners on death row. 3 executions were held back in 2022 before the governor's hold. And Gunch's execution is set for 10 a.m. this morning. It will be at the state prison complex in Florence. We have a crew out there and will provide you full coverage a little bit later on today. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Dominique Newland reporting live for us this morning. Dominique, thank you. Well, speaking of Gunches, his execution comes just a day after a Louisiana death row inmate became the very first person executed by nitrogen gas. That's going to be in the state's history. Jesse Hoffman was convicted in 1996 of kidnapping, raping, and murdering a 28-year-old woman. The nitrogen gas reportedly flowed for 19 minutes before Hoffman was declared dead. Hoffman is the 5th person in the United States to be executed by nitrogen gas. The other 4 were all in the state of Alabama.
Well, gunfire on the I-10 led to an attempted carjacking and shots being fired at a popular Valley resort.
Let's head out to Irene with the very latest on this story. Good morning, Irene.
Good morning, guys. It's such a crazy story. The violent crime spree covering a lot of ground. Now, it started with running on the I-10, then going through the Angel Spring Training Stadium, and then also ending here at the Buttes Marriott Resort in Tempe. Now, the police say the resort was closed down for several hours while this was taking place. The shooting spree started with, again, the gunman on the I-10 freeway jumping over the median and shooting at other drivers. No drivers were shot, but the suspects made his way through the Angel Spring Training Complex and several areas of the Marriott where he held 2 employees at gunpoint. He shot at them. They were hit with shrapnel before running off. The gunman then tried to carjack several people in the parking lot before he was taken into custody.
I was getting ready to leave my room and I heard a commotion outside of my room, and then I heard a gunshot. So I took a video of a suspect on the ground and the SWAT team kind of moving in on him. And then all of a sudden chaos ensued, and they're not letting anybody really leave the hotel, but I told them I had to catch a flight.
Police say the Angels had an away game yesterday, and if they had been playing at Tempe Diablo Stadium, the area would have been a lot busier at that time. The hotel did reopen last night, but only for guests and employees. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Irene, thank you. Time now, 7:06, that is. And switching gears, Vallow Daybell appeared in court yesterday for what could be the final time before she stands trial here in our state.
Yeah, this is a big story around the nation that so many people are following. The doomsday mom, who has already been convicted of killing her 2 children in Idaho, is representing herself in this case, which makes it even more interesting for people. Prosecutors believe she conspired with her brother to murder her ex-husband Charles Vallow at their Chandler home back in 2019. The judge heard arguments from Daybell about an expert witness she plans to use at trial. That witness was approved last week, is tasked with going through 22 terabytes of evidence. Daybell is concerned that her witness won't have enough time, but the judge pointed out she was the one who insisted on a speedy trial. The judge also laying out the rules for her should she choose to take the stand.
If you do want to testify, it will be question and answer, meaning you need to write out all your questions that you want to be asked and have one of your advisory counsels ask those questions to you when you're on the witness stand.
Right.
Okay, so you can't take the witness stand and just give a narrative. It'll be question and answer.
Jury selection begins March 31st. The trial will get underway in April.
Several fire crews called out to a first alarm fire in West Phoenix, or west of downtown Phoenix, I should say. It happened right around 1:30 this morning near 19th Avenue and Indian School Road. Firefighters say smoke and flames were coming from inside of a vacant preschool building. Crews found the fire inside, quickly put it out. The good thing, no injuries were reported. Investigators are still looking into what may have sparked those flames to begin with.
In the Money Watch, dining and shopping in the city of Phoenix this summer is going to cost you a little bit more.
Uh-oh, that's not a good sign, because I like to dine and I like to shop.
I think they're trying to tap into maybe tourism here and tourists who are visiting the valley.
Let's toss it out to Nicole Christine with details on this. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning. It was an 8-1 vote from the Phoenix City Council to increase sales tax. That is going to go into effect starting July 1st. Sales tax jumping from 2.3% to 2.8%. Only Councilman Jim Waring voted against this measure. Phoenix expecting to face a $39 million budget deficit in the 2026 fiscal year, and that number is forecasted to only grow over the next few years. So City Council members say without the hike, the city would have to cut certain services and programs.
You're required to balance the budget. So to answer your question, it is a structural budget shortfall over 3 years of $125 million baseline. So the council would have to either cut expenditures by that amount based on the model and all of the assumptions, or increase resources in order to resolve the deficit.
The budget shortfall is being attributed to the state's switch to a fault income tax, resulting in less money for cities, as well as the state legislature eliminating residential rental tax. And just one note, there is still no tax applied to groceries and gas within the city. Reporting in downtown Phoenix, Nicole Christine, Fox 10 News.
All right, Nicole, thank you. Great report this evening. The city of Phoenix will give residents a chance to learn more about finalists who could be named the city's new permanent police chief. Ed DeCastro, Casey Johnson, Ed Wessing, and current interim chief Michael Sullivan will speak directly to the public and take questions submitted by the community. It will be at the Phoenix City Council chambers, 5 p.m. tonight. You can watch it on the city's YouTube channel.
Trending this Wednesday morning, something for fans who miss the old Twitter. A piece of the original social media company is going up for auction. We're talking about that iconic blue bird. It used to hang on the company's San Francisco headquarters before Elon Musk bought the company and rebranded Twitter as X. The sign is already bidding over $21,000 for people who want that blue bird. Auctioneers think it could go for more than $40,000.
An Arizona Powerball player found a pot of gold, I guess you could say, on St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, with a pretty nice sizable win. Wouldn't that be nice? A ticket worth $50,000 from Monday night's drawing was sold at a Peoria Quick Trip near 67th Avenue and Happy Valley Road. It matched 4 of the 5 winning numbers. The player now has 180 days from the date of the drawing to claim the prize, but so far no one has stepped up just yet. Also, no one won the jackpot, so now it's going to be rolling over an estimated $416 million is up for grabs.
That is a good chunk of change.
That is a great chunk of change.
Yeah.
Well, we know we've been talking a lot about tornadoes this week with a deadly outbreak in the South and Midwest over this last weekend. So take a look at the video that we have here. This is big swaths of downed trees caught from a bird's eye view in Mississippi. Tree damage can often be used to help survey storm teams when they are going out to confirm where tornadoes actually struck. Specifically, they look for trees in flattened directions, kind of flattened out in varied directions rather, indicating rotation instead of straight line wind damage. The storms last weekend led to 90 tornadoes in 13 states, including 9 EF3 and 2 EF4 tornadoes. So the question is, what makes conditions right for tornado outbreaks? Let's break it down in the virtual weather lab. Tornadoes can form for a variety of reasons, but almost all have a few common ingredients, one of which beginning with warm and humid air that sits down at the surface, something we so typically will see down in the South where we saw all the activity just this past weekend. And we know how it goes. Hot air rises. This is the lift that creates cloud coverage overhead. But we know you need more than clouds for tornadoes to develop. You need thunderstorms, the strongest form. To get there, you need the next ingredient, which is wind shear, known as the change in strength and direction of winds from down at the ground to up way in the sky. That varying wind strength as well as direction is what creates a rotating column of air horizontally. Now, horizontally, this is no problem. The issue comes when something known as an updraft develops. The updraft helps to strengthen a thunderstorm, but it's a vacuum, so to speak. So as it sucks up into the clouds, it can grab that column of air too. Now you have vertically spinning, rotating air, and that rotation is the troublemaker. So typically, something called a wall cloud can develop at this point. When you see a wall cloud, it is not a guarantee, but it suggests the possibility that a tornado is soon to follow. And as we know, once that funnel makes it to the ground, we now have a tornado that, can be very dangerous. So let's take a look at the EF scale, or the enhanced Fujita scale. We know that with storms this past weekend, we saw up to EF3 and EF4 tornadoes. In EF0, winds are in that middle 60s to middle 80 mile per hour range with some minor damage like to gutters and siding or shingles peeled off of roofs. For perspective, when we have damaging thunderstorms, typically the winds are in this range. But let's go up a notch to an EF1. Now winds could be to 110 miles per hour with broken windows or significant roof damage and poles starting to topple. EF2 is where we really start to see problems. Now cars are flipped over, larger trees are uprooted, and roofs may be ripped away. Now into the EF3 scale, look at the wind range, 136 to over 165 miles per hour. Entire floors may be destroyed of homes, and most standing objects are toppling over at this point. EF4, this is where devastation occurs. Most homes are leveled, cars thrown into the air, and over 200 mile per hour estimated winds with EF5s is incredible damage, as almost nothing is left behind. Guys.
Wow.
That is amazing. Yeah. Well done, Crystal. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's pretty scary stuff when you're dealing with
Put it
Mother
into perspective
Nature,
like that,
and
too.
you really don't understand how strong it is until it moves through.